Welcome Taurus to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 15th of July for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. The week begins in sensational fashion for you with Mars, which has been coursing through your sign the last 5 weeks, applies to Uranus exactly on Monday. Uranus has been a restless energy for you full time since March 2019. Taurus people generally have a real appreciation of continuity, but you may have found that you've been pushed, even provoked at times, to break free of some parts of your existence which have given you a sense of security but may have choked off your sense of individuality. So what Uranus has been asking you to do is really assert the most authentic version of yourself. It doesn't mean to say you weren't being true to yourself before, but just being more edgy, not necessarily just staying with those patterns that are so comforting. Now, Mars, of course, in our own sign is really emphasizing our individuality because Mars rules the ascendant, which is what the first house is very much about. So Mars over the last 5 weeks has been asking you to just be a little bit bolder, a little bit more dynamic, to not be so worried about what other people are thinking or saying. So we put these two energies together, which started to build up towards the end of last week. It's a very intense combination. Now, if you're someone who really loves to do things a bit more spontaneously over the weekend and coming into this week, the chances are you did do exactly that. You dashed off somewhere and had a thrilling time. If you're someone whose circumstances make it difficult for you to drop everything and just follow your hunches, it may have felt quite enclosing. So there may be a little bit of frustration if your circumstances don't allow that degree of freedom. But it's essentially a Freedom Central Monday start to this week. And maybe it could come down to just being very straight and direct in terms of telling someone close to you exactly what you want, particularly if they're not quite getting the message. But of course the Sun is making its way through the sign of Cancer. The host is very much about emotion and feeling, but for you that's house 3, conversation and dialogue, particularly everyday dialogue. But there's a great link between Mars and Uranus as this week goes on and the Sun. So the passion that you can be feeling at the start of this week can really be something to behold. So if there are ideas that you're inspired by and enthusiastic about, you can really convey them with a lot of conviction, that's for sure. But also that energy is going to push you to perhaps be more active, do something a bit different, and be more spontaneous. Now, as the week goes on, your ruler Venus, which is pushing you to think about your home environment, particularly if you're someone who has a real appreciation of colour and fabric and furnishings, which is often the case with Taurus people. It could, of course, be that you're a more aesthetic Taurus person, really like to get your hands in earth and go to vintage fairs and get those high quality, if older items, and rejuvenate them in some way or upcycle. All of those kind of things can really sparkle with Venus in Leo. But Venus does forge a terrific link with Jupiter. Now Jupiter starts this week in a lovely angle to the point of destiny, the North Node. If there is something that you get a feeling around, but particularly a financial opportunity, that's really an encouraging start to the week. And maybe that combination between Mars and Uranus is going to make you more daring. But the link from Friday through to the end of the week between Jupiter, the planet of fortune, and Venus, the lesser benefit, the second planet of fortune, is really great. So there could be some good news that's going to fall to you, and it could be around a property matter, a family matter, and it may be financial. Now, as the week draws to a close, we have the second consecutive full moon. For you, these go across the 9th and the 3rd axes of your chart. The 9th house, Capricorn, very much about exploration, and Pluto was really pushing you for 14 long years to be more experimental, particularly in terms of learning new knowledge. And I think After Pluto's journey, which of course is going to recommence for one last time from the 1st of September, world, 2nd September US, through to the 20th of November, you're going to get one last push to make sure that you've nailed down all the info you want. But as we go into this full moon, I feel that the conversations you had at the start of when the sun moved into Cancer, and we had the first Capricorn full moon, I think you've got a lot more clarity now. I think at that point there may have been some confusion. Now you're much clearer about what you want. But one of the things that's really dynamic about this particular full moon is that Mars is angling up to the position of the moon and then moves later on Sunday into the part of your chart which is very much to do with everyday money. But it's going to link to Pluto, the planet of power, which is right at the top of your chart and very much to do with how you interact with the world at large. So if that daring energy of Mars and Uranus pushes you to put in that application, contact that influential client, do a presentation, send in your CV, the chances are as you go into the end of this week and the start of week commencing the 22nd, there's going to be a chance to manifest some professional success. But don't be surprised if you're someone who's got a hobby or a craft or something you do from home, because that could be about to become so much more important. Have a great week, Taurus. Thanks for joining me. And if you've yet to subscribe, please do so now.